The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has had some effect on the UK economy. The average UK household will experience a substantial drop in income this year, half of which is as a result of the invasion of Ukraine. According to the Center for Economics and Business Research, the cost of living crisis is expected to worsen as the war continues. Soaring energy bills, increased food costs, and inflation have all caused Britons to tighten their belts, and, predictably, the worst is yet to come due to worldwide sanctions on Russia. In light of this scenario, how is it possible to keep a relationship going amidst a crisis that will bring about a tighter family budget? A poll of over 2,000 British adults by legal firm Slater & Gordon in 2018 found that money worries topped the list of reasons why married couples split up, with 1 in 5 saying that this was the biggest cause of marital strife. Over a third of those questioned said that financial pressures were the biggest challenge to their marriage, whilst a fifth said that most of their arguments were about money. 1 in 5 of those polled blamed their partner for their money worries, accusing them of overspending or failing to budget properly. Serious money problems can cause panic and apprehension and bring many couples to the brink of divorce. However, even a financial crisis can be overcome when the couple decide to join forces for the sake of their relationship. Anyone who thinks that having a lot of money means they are exempt from relationship problems is wrong. Some celebrities may have, on more than one occasion, stopped to think as to whether their significant other was really interested in them or in the contents of their bank account, as was likely the case of singer Britney Spears. In 2004, she met Kevin Federline, a backup dancer who had left his girlfriend Shah Jackson whilst she was pregnant with their second child. Only 3 months after they first began dating, Spears and Federline got married in a surprise ceremony. Rumors were rife that the dancer married purely for financial interest, as Spears was still at the peak of her career at the time. The couple then had 2 children together, although in November 2006, just 8 weeks after their son's arrival, Spears filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. In 2018, Federline began fighting for significantly more child support payments than he had been receiving over the years. According to court documents filed that May, Federline claimed that he made less than 1% of what Spears does. After months of court discussions, the toxic singer agreed to pay Federline thousands more a month in child support. Last Monday, 11th April, the singer shared on her Instagram account the news of her pregnancy with fiancé Sam Asghari. The couple have been together for 5 years. Would you like to know how to overcome a difficult phase and how to deal with your finances as a couple? So stay tuned for tonight's program.
Can you see, the problem is not only lack of money. When you're talking about financial issues in a relationship, it's not necessarily lack of money. But we just watched now the example of, the famous celebrity Britney, right? Britney Spears. She, for sure, she's rich, right? She's really wealthy, but look at the problems. So it's clear that the problem is not money. The Bible, speaks about it. The money is not the problem, but when people love money, that become a problem. And this is one of the main issues in relationship. People, they love more money than, their spouses. They values more money than their partner. And of course, that will be a problem, because there is no right balance, in the relationship, and obviously problems will come. And as we can see, we just watch it now. Exo just brought this information to all of us in this report, that the cost of living in the UK, it's rising in a very substantially, not only in the UK but in the whole world. But since we are I know based in London, we can feel it here. And I can imagine, those who are watching us from Philippines, those who are watching us from North America, many different countries, you can also feel the same. And, unfortunately, it's not being negative, but, based on what we can see, unfortunately, we can see that eventually this financial crisis, this, worldly financial crisis will affect also many families and unfortunately many marriages. And that's why we decided to bring to you actually this very important topic tonight. United in finances, how a couple can work through a bad phase. And of course, when we talk about financial life, it's impossible for us to speak about financial life and not speaking about your bank account. Because this is one of the main problems, that couples faces in their relationship. The bank account. What do we do? Should we have a joint bank account? Should we have separate bank accounts? What do we do? Should I trust my partner? Should I not trust him? What is the answer? We send our reporter to the streets to hear people's opinion about it. I want to know yours as well. So you can type here in the chat what you think about it. Should a couple keep a joint account? Should they, keep separate accounts? What do you think about it? So let's watch what people in the streets think about it.
Do you believe in relationships where each partner manages their own money individually?
For me, you always have to have your own money and do whatever you want to do with it. For me, you should have like three bank accounts, one for her, one for you, and one for together.
I don't think it should be that they feel they have to share everything. I mean, my parents, they share all their money. One of my parents makes a lot more money than the other, and they share it all, and that's the way they like it to be. But I don't think that's the way it necessarily should be. You earn your own money. So yeah, it shouldn't feel forced to share it. But I think that a lot of people want to share it with their partners, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
I believe money is one of the major problems in the marriages and the families. People are not open to each other. They don't share what they have with their spouse or with their families.
Personally, I feel like I would be very happy to share if I was making that money with my partner, but I'm not. So I don't know, maybe I wouldn't when I actually have the money, but we would see.
I guess it depends on the individual, but I think it's quite dependent on who you're with and what your culture is. In my culture, in the Chinese culture, it's more about one person brings the family together and then ends up paying the bill. There's not much splitting the bill. It's more fighting over the bill. Oh no, I'll get it this time. I'll get this for you this time, and you get for me this the next time.
I think it's true to say that there's some, often when a woman is earning more or is more successful, I've had it only not so much in money but in work. When I was working a lot and I was successful, then there were problems in my marriage. There was tensions within the relationship because of money, definitely. We're separated now.
I think money is important. You want your partner to do things with you, right? But you need money to do that, right? Usually the problem I found out is that they say money is not important, but at the end, obviously it's important because you need money to do whatever you want to do with your partner.
When we speak about a relationship, when we speak about marriage specifically, we're talking about marriage, right? When we talk about marriage, one of the foundations of a good marriage is trust. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that it's quite impossible for you to have, a covenant with someone you don't trust? That's impossible. That's impossible. You should trust the person that you are in a covenant with. For example, I've been married for over 15 years, and during these 15 years, I trust my wife, and not because I have to. Not because I have to, but because she gives me, this confidence to trust completely, on her. As I believe that she also, shared the same level of confidence, the same level of trust on the other way around. But when we see couples that they have this lack of trust, they have this thing, that they are together but separate in some aspects, especially in love life, that's a sign. That's a sign. A sign that they didn't become we yet. They are still me and you. And one of the ideas of being a covenant, such as marriage, is for me and you become we. And not only in certain areas of your life, but in everything. In everything. In everything that is good, in everything that is bad as well. So, what do you think about it? Couples that they are together, but separate. They are together, but separate. Together because they perhaps are together, intimately speaking. They are together when it comes to many different aspects, deciding to go for a holiday. They decide together. They decide together when they have to go out to do something. But when it comes to their financial life, they are completely separate. So they are together in their intimacy. They are together perhaps in sharing certain secrets, thoughts, but they are separate when it comes to financial life. Why? The reason is very, very simple, and is dangerous, by the way, because, as we said, the idea of being a marriage is that when me and you become we, right? So you become we. That's the idea of a marriage, this fusion, a physical fusion, a spiritual fusion, is the fusion of, body, soul, and spirit. So you become one in everything, including in your financial life. Trust in something or in someone. Couples that they have this lack of trust, this difficulty in sharing, money, sharing, details about their financial life, as we said before, they are together but separate. There is another problem there. There is another problem. What is the problem? The problem is when you start trusting more in something, which is money, than in someone, that is your partner. Because if you trust your partner more than money, what is the benefit when you trust each other more than money? Because money, eventually, they can, things can happen, especially because of the worldly crisis we are living now. We never know. The inflation is rising here in this country and in many different other countries as well. And you know what happens when inflation goes up, right? The value of your money goes down. Yes. The power you have, the power to go and buy something, your money, start, becoming weak. So that £1 that you used to go there to the pound shop and buy, that stuff, you don't find that stuff there. Or perhaps if you find, they will put, less of product in that thing. Because your money, that pound now can buy less of that product. So money is not something that we can trust all the time. It's not trustworthy. But if you have a covenant, and this covenant is well established, you can trust someone, and I'm not saying anyone, but who is this someone? Your partner, your spouse. So you trust your spouse over something. So when your money fails you, you have, what really matters here. And you together, you can rebuild, what was lost. You can recover what was lost. But when you trust more, in something, which is money, than in your partner, your spouse, eventually, that person will feel that. The person will feel that you don't trust them like, they wanted to be trusted. And what about money? Money has no feelings. Do you agree with me? For money, there is no difference if you trust in it or not. If you trust on it or not, there is no difference for money. But when you trust someone, and this someone I'm telling, let me repeat, it's not anyone, but when you trust your partner, your spouse, that's something that is really, really valuable and really appreciated. Couple should have, a marriage couple, they should have a joint account. Yes. Everything must be clear, transparent. There is no secrets. There is no such a thing as, yours and mine. Everything in a marriage must be common. Because look, and this, please pay attention, this is not an idea, that is coming out of my mind. Please understand. I'm just sharing with you the biblical vision of a marriage. The Bible says, the word of the author of love says that a married couple, they don't own their own bodies. My body belongs to my wife. Her body belongs to me. So just think with me. Come on. If my own body, if our own bodies, they are common, can you imagine? So what can we say about my money, our money? If my body and her body became common in our relationship, it's not mine, it's not hers, it's common. So imagine money. Of course, I'm not saying that there is, you must respect. Respect is necessary. Communication is very necessary. But the idea of, have this fusion of being together in everything, this is really necessary. Again, going back to what we mentioned in the very beginning of this topic. And what about those couples that they had or they tried to have this kind of trust, this level of trust, and something happened and the trust was broken? How do we do to rebuild that? First of all, you have to be in the love therapy. The love therapy will give you tools for you first to be healed on the both sides. If you had the trust broken, or even if you were the one, breaking the trust. So the love therapy will give you the tools for you to fix that and teach you on how to rebuild the trust. Because, there is nothing better in a relationship than peace.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.